Often enough, when you have numbers, you find yourself comparing them. All right. Now there are different ways of comparing them. We could compare, say, for instance, 20 to 10, and say, ah, that's the same comparison as 100 to 90, right? Via subtraction, right? They're both 10 apart, right? Now, this kind of comparison, though, is not what we mean when we're talking about proportions. In proportions, we're interested in comparing things by division, right, or multiplication. So in this case, we would be talking about something more like this. 20 compares to 10 as 100 compares to 50. All right. So how would we use these ratios practically? So if you have this proportion, you have this so many of this or so many of that, you can extend that to, you can scale it up, shall we say, to another set of numbers that have the same proportion. Let's take an example. Suppose, for instance, that you are putting 8 slices of tomato on, say, some large sub sandwiches. And suppose further that you get 12 slices out of a tomato. Well, that means that you'll end up using 2 tomatoes for every 3 sandwiches. Okay, we'll look at how you would find such a ratio from a practical situation like that. But for now, let's see the motivation, right? So this can be used to very easily find, say, how many tomatoes you need to make 45 sandwiches. So let's back up and talk about how you would find that ratio of 2 tomatoes to every 3 sandwiches from this information that you get 12 slices from a tomato and you need 8 per sandwich. Well, if you want to use up all of your tomatoes and you want to fill up all of your sandwiches, okay, we're going to need to find the least common multiple of these two numbers, right? Well, that least common multiple will be 24. That is indeed the least common multiple, since I've multiplied by prime numbers here, but we can leave that aside for the moment. Note, however, we do have our 2 and our 3 here. So it's 2 tomatoes for every 3 sandwiches. Let's take another example. Say, for instance, your assembly line can turn out 10 tires at a time, and we're just putting the 4 tires on a car, not worrying about a spare or what have you. So that means we need to find the least common multiple of 10 and 4 if we want to have no spare tires laying around. So let's find the least common multiple of these. 2 times 10 is 20, and 4 times 5 is 20. So there we have it. It's going to be 2 batches for every 5 cars.